Hello, welcome to Everyman Prepping. Today I'm going to show you how I go about storing my long-term food in 5-gallon buckets with Mylar bags. I'm going to be doing wheat berries, but this method I'm going to show you is so simple and easy it'll work for any dry good. Whether that be pasta, beans, lentils, oats, flour, you name it, it's going to work for that. Like I said, don't be intimidated. It's super easy. Everybody can do this, and once you get started, you're going to love doing it. So we're going to go out to the barn. We're going to look at a table full of supplies and have a clip of that. And then I'm going to go through an example of how to fill a bag, seal it, do everything proper. And then there's a clip at the end where I come back the next day and show you what it looks like and then how to seal the bucket and label it. One thing I want to note really quick is when I did the supply walkthrough and the filling, the audio was horrible. So I'm going to do a play-by-play voiceover now, and you'll see how it goes when I just talk you through it as the video plays in the background. So let's get started. Okay, we're back out here in the barn now, and as you can see there's a table here full of all the stuff that we're going to need and go through here. So the first thing you'll see here is we have the wheat berries. I get them from Assure Standard. These are organic. I try to eat organic when I can. If you can't afford it, anything is great. You can go to feed stores. You can go to the co-op. Then you're going to need 5-gallon buckets. You got the white food grade buckets here, and you also have your big box, orange bucket in the background. You want to use a food grade if you're going to open the Mylar up and then just dump it in and use it right out of the bucket. Otherwise, you can keep it in the Mylar bag and stick with the non-food grade version of this. You're going to want to also make sure you have enough buckets to fill all the bags that you've bought. All the stuff you bought, you want to make sure you have enough. Here you go. You want to get a lid that has a nice gasket so you can seal it. It keeps out rodents, bugs, moisture out. You can also get a gamma lid like this one. It screws on. That way, you can just have easy access. You don't have to keep prying it up each time. And of course, you're going to need Mylar bags. You're going to get the 5-gallon version. I get mine from Pack Fresh USA. I'm going to put all these things on this list in the description below in case you want to stock up on stuff, but they'll all be listed down below for you. And when you get the Mylar bags, a lot of people look at see if there's pinholes in them. They hold them up to the light. Don't worry about that. There's some of the silver might flake off. You might think it's a pinhole. It's probably not. Most of these are well made. I get the 5 mil thick ones. You're going to want at least 5 mil thickness. Don't go any less. It's strong, it's sturdy. And even though you see light through, it'll still hold. And you'll know the next day when it's shrunk down, see if it actually is holding air. If not, you have to redo it. Next, you'll need oxygen absorbers. These are two 1,000 cc oxygen absorbers. For 2,000, we're going to be using 2,000 today. These are 500 cc oxygen absorbers. You can see I wrote the date that I got them on here. But these are in a multi-pack. These are individually packed, so you can go through and use them one at a time and take your time. If you do have to open a multi-pack, well, that's what this mason jar is for. So the mason jar is if you don't use them all at once, you use one or two, you're going to quickly open the jar, put them in there, put the lid on super tight, and they'll be good and ready for you to go to the next time. So you won't waste anything. We're not going to have to use that jar today because we got individually sealed packages, two 1,000 cc absorbers for 2,000, so we can just open one at a time. You're going to need what I use is a hair straightener, and bought this off Amazon, super cheap. You can see it's a Conair, but we're going to use this to seal the bag. Some people use 2x4s with an iron. Some people use the actual bag sealer. This works great. It's what I use, and it's done me wonders for the years, and it's super cheap and it's super easy. You're gonna need some tape and a pen and scissors to open up the stuff. A lot of people ask, so how do you know how much oxygen absorbers you use? How many cc's you can use? Well, usually when you buy them, you'll come with a little chart. You can look in here. Pack Fresh does this, but you can always be sure that if you're using 2,500 cc, you're going to be good to go. That's the right-hand column. That's for your pastas and your flours, your oats. It's when you have a lot of air in between that you need to really suck out more air. The middle column is for your beans, your rice, your wheat berries, things like that. And it says 2,000 cc's. So that's what we're going to be using today. We're going to be using the 2,000 cc's today. But if you really want to make sure you have enough and you don't have to do it again, you can go for 2,500 cc's, put them in there, and you'll be covered. It's good for anything. that you put in there. It'll really work for all items you put in there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take the stuff down here. We're going to set it up, get everything ready to go. And so you can see an actual demonstration of how to fill up one bucket. So I'm going to take this down and get it set up now. Okay, we got the setup ready to go here. And while we're doing this, if you enjoying this video, please like, subscribe, ring that bell, share this with anybody, and put any questions you have below, and we will address them. And someone, myself or someone in the community, will get back to you. So what I'm doing here is I'm unfolding the bag, and you're just going to take the 5-gallon bag and you're going to put it in, tuck the corners in. You don't need to be too straight or worried about how full it is now, because as you fill it, it's going to fill to the size of the bucket. So you don't need to worry about getting it too well placed in there. Just make sure it's in there and the corners are tucked in and it's lined up the way you want. And then you're going to grab your wheat berries, your corn, your beans, whatever you're putting in there, and you're going to put in a little bit to begin with. And then and you'll see why we do it. So first I pour in maybe 2 inches, if on height here is what we're going to first put in there. And then what we're going to do, as you see here, is we're going to kind of lift the bag, shake it around. This helps fill in the creases. It straightens out the bottom of the bag. You get a cleaner fill this way, I believe. So then we just get this and we do it to about halfway. So we're going to put in there, make sure we're not spilling any. We're going to make sure we put it in there. Once it's about halfway full here, we're going to go and we're going to shake the bag again. This also gets the air pockets out. You want to get as much food in there and less air as possible. Shake the bucket, tap it on the ground like this. It'll help settle everything in there and you can fit more in there. You can pack it down like I'm doing here, and you want to fill this to about 1 inch from the top of the bucket. You need space to fold up the bag in there and to seal it. So you want to get it to about 1 inch high. So now we're going to fill it up the rest of the way until we get to about 1 inch from the top. And you're going to end up with about 30 pounds of wheat berries in there when you're done here. So one last few shakes here. And, I'm showing you what they look like. These are wheat berries. They're very clean. Like I said, this is from Azure Standard. Great place to get it if you want to check them out. So we shake, and then we get into this here. So we're going to straighten this out now. We're going to pack it in there, make sure we're about 1 inch from the top. And then we're going to fold it, and we're going to even out the edges here, as you'll see in a second, because what we're going to do is we're going to try to squeeze as much air out of this as possible. The hair straightener is already plugged in. It's hot. It's ready to go. So now I'm folding and pushing down, pushing the air out, getting the bag ready to be sealed. And the more air you get out now, the less work the oxygen absorbers have to do. So you're pressing it, you're flattening it, and then you're getting ready to seal here. So you need to get a nice straight edge across the top. And we're going to seal it about halfway. We're going to pre-seal it. That way, we don't have to waste as much time when we drop the oxygen absorbers in there, sealing up the rest and burn the oxygen absorbers before they're needed. So you grab your hair straightener, you start in the middle, you clamp down, and you move it to the edge. And you do this 2, 3, 4, as many times as you need to. You want to clamp pretty hard. You got to press it together. Basically what you're doing is you're melting the Mylar bag to itself. You want to make sure there's no creases, no air bubbles, no gaps. So you want to go back 3 or 4 times just to make sure that it's all good sealed. And once again, we're only doing halfway across this time. So enough for you to get your hand in there and drop the oxygen absorbers in there. Once again, we're tapping any extra air out of there. Grab our scissors. We're individually packed. So if we had more, we'd line up the buckets now and pour all the buckets now and get them ready before we open these up. But since they're individually packaged, we can do one at a time and take our time. That's why I love individually sealed ones. So we cut them open. Now we work quickly so we don't waste the oxygen absorber. We take them out. If you have multiples like I do, 2 1000s, you place them in there and you make sure they're not on top of each other and they're not buried in your food. They're just resting on top and spaced out, so they're not touching each other. Once again, we flatten it all out, get it all nice and smooth, and then we straighten it. And once again, now we seal the rest of the way. We do the exact same thing, except we do the other half, and we make sure that we get it all nice and tight. Once I said you clamp it hard, I go left to right, then I also go up and down, and then I go back over the first part. I've never had a problem. Some people say, are you going to melt this thing? Well, if the hair straightener I use, I've never melted a hole in it, never melted through it. Works great. I do this a lot. I want to make sure it's very well sealed so we don't have to come by and redo this again. And And, that's all there is to it. You're basically done for right now until you come back the next day. You basically wait overnight. You're going to come in and see it done. But as you can see, very easy, super simple. You lay flat, come back the next day, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to, come back and check it out. We're going to label it so we know what's inside of there. We're going to label the bag and the bucket. We're going to put the lid on it. And at this point, you just rinse and repeat. If you line up other buckets, you do them all. If you have a partner helping you, it works faster. You can go quicker at it, and it's really easy, especially with those, like I said, individually sealed oxygen absorbers. But like I said, if not, you can lay them all out, do it at once. Someone hands you the oxygen absorber, you do it, and you go from bucket to bucket, putting them in, sealing them, move to the next one, put it in, move to the next one, go on. So super easy. So what we'll do, we're going to come back the next day. I'm going to show you what it looks like and how we seal it up, and I'll see you then. Welcome back, everybody. It's the next day, and as you can see, we've labeled our bucket, hard white wheat there. Just put ORG for organic, and I put the year. You can put the month if you want. Sometimes I put the month in the year, sometimes the year. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But you can see here, we're all sucked down nice and tight. We labeled the bag, hard white wheat, organic, 2022. You can see that there's no air. It's been all sucked down. It's ready to go. So after you've got it labeled and everything, what you want to do now is you want to just fold. It's big to just one-handed here. Fold in the Mylar bag. So it's nice and compact. And then you'll see here, what I also do, this is from the bag itself, from the hard white winter wheat. You see here, it's got the nutrition. It has some cooking instructions and basic info. I usually cut that out and I throw that in there as well. So that way, just in case I need a reminder of what I'm doing and what it is. If I want to do a quick recipe, if you have other recipes you want to tack in there, it's a great time to do it. If you want to put how you like to cook it the best way, how you mill it, any of that, put those instructions in the bucket. That way, in case they're lost some other way and you have the bucket, when you open up, you have your recipes ready to go. So get your bucket lid. Remember, your lid has a gasket. You just put it on top, just like this, and then you're going to use a nice rubber mallet, not a metal mallet, because if you're using metal, it's going to crack the plastic. I'm not going to do it now because it's on a table here and you got to hit it hard. I'll do that later, but use your rubber mallet, bang it on there, then store it in a nice, cool, dark place, and you're ready to go. Closet, basement, crawl space, wherever it could be, just store it away. Also, yesterday, I'll show you some other stuff I did. I did some individual 1-gallon bags of some rice and wheat berries. You can see them there. And here's one just by itself. You can see how it really sucked down nice and tight here. Got the dimpling, that's rice, in a 1-gallon bag. Sometimes you only want to open a little bit at a time, so you do it this way. And then down here, I have a 5-gallon of rice and a 5-gallon of road oats. So that was my project I did yesterday. After I showed you the one bucket, I went ahead and did all these other buckets. And so that's all there is to storing long-term food. It's very simple, easy to do. Anybody can do it. Don't be intimidated. Go out and start doing it. If you have any questions, put them down below. If you have suggestions, go ahead and do that as well. Let's get the community going. Let's get everybody storing food, getting ready for what's coming. Until next time, keep your ear on the ground, head on a swivel.